Oh, hello. Week one of iSchool, 2024, which we're just going to call Alone. You have your little iSchool notebook. And for week one, alone just means that, like, you are alone. So whether you've written down anything you want or not, how about this for what's something that I would want for you, students, which would be to be okay being alone without anything external, which might not be a possibility, but it's a goal, is that you are more comfortable in your own skin more of the time, if that makes sense. So to be okay with your aloneness. So here's my idea. Okay. So to wake up in the morning, well, let's just call it AM, PM talk. So in the morning when you wake up, I would have those racing thoughts. What am I going to do today? What did I do yesterday? And what I'm thinking and what I'm trying myself is to just interrupt those thoughts. Just have an overriding voice that comes in and interrupts it and just says, good morning. How did you sleep? How do you feel? And I think that last one is really important, which is how you feel, because it could set up consequences with people you interact with throughout the day. Let's say you're not even aware that you woke up grumpy for some reason. That might come out in interactions with other people, and then that just makes your day a little bit worse. So for iSchool, to be alone, to be comfortable in your own skin. And so wake up in the morning, interrupt that thought, and then make your bed. Now, again, this is an imaginary school. You don't have to do any of these, but here's my thought. To wake up and just have 15, 20 seconds of you, just some nice talk. Again, good morning. How do you feel? That's it. No judgment, just a sense of awareness. And then make your bed. Now, but not just make your bed with the idea, like in the back of your mind, say, how do I want to feel when I get back into this bed tonight? And not as a threat, but just more of a cautionary tale, which is, these interactions might, with other people throughout your day, like at school, might have some consequences. So that's just my thought. Wake up in the morning, interrupt those thoughts, those racing thoughts, with just a simple question. How are you? Make your bed. And then, okay, here's my idea. Because I'm thinking you're sitting in school and I'm here. So I'm thinking ideally 3 times a day. Just pick any 3 times a day. Just pick one. Pick one, which is, let's say, 8:30 or 10:30. I'm going to imagine you sitting in a class. And just get in the habit every time you see that time, whether it's 8:30, 10:30. Just stop. Let's say you're just, listening to a lecture. Just start physically, just sit up straight. I'm just saying do something physical that you feel comfortable with. It's not going to draw a lot of attention to you. Nobody will even know what you're thinking. You're just going to be like, just sit up straight. Just some posture. 3 times a day. So wake up in the morning, make your bed, and then stop yourself 3 times a day. See if you can start to condition yourself with just being aware. And that's all you have to do. Like I said, straighten up, get some posture, just slowly move your shoulders back or do something physical 1, 2, 3 times a day. And I'll explain that in a minute. But it's part of doing this kind of a self-check. And then at night, do the same thing. Now, I've had kind of an issue when I go to sleep. I can't ask myself those same things, like, how was your day? Those same kind of questions. How do you feel? Because by the end of the evening, at least for me, it just gets me thinking about other things. So I kind of like to go to bed with a story to listen to or read, just as a distraction from my day. But the idea is have an AM, PM self-talk. Do something really simple and physical 1 to 3 times a day. And do that for as long as you can until you start to get conditioned. Because what you're doing is you're reconditioning the conditioning of school. And so here's my rationale. When I've talked and interviewed students this last 4 years, The biggest things I get are depression and anxiety, and that comes from a perception of a lack of self-control within the classroom. And you're absolutely right. The perception is you have to do this, you have to do that. So I'm just trying to like find a way to, I don't want to say trick your brain because that sounds not right. Trick your brain into having some freedom, having some autonomy. So having this mental, physical connection 1 to 5 times a day, I'm thinking will at least make your subconscious believe that you have more control than you perhaps realized. Okay, you're alone with yourself 24/7. How much you're aware of yourself, I don't know myself either. But essentially, you want to have some command over yourself, some self-control, or else you're just going to be more commanded. If you are tired, if you don't have any self-control of yourself, and you don't have that sense of who you are, it's just easier to control you. Does that make sense? And would you agree maybe? So for number 1 week, alone, just try it. So AM, PM self-talk, write your ideas down about what you want. Again, some ideas are in your little notebook. What are some things you want? Getting a good night's sleep, getting more excited about your life. And if you've ever seen the show Alone, I think one of the biggest downfalls for people on that show is even if they're prepared for their environment, sometimes it's the psychological self-talk and the sense of that they can't be alone. So that's my goal for you, is how to be more comfortable in your own skin when you're alone, which is all the time. Yeah, so even when you're talking to somebody, you're alone in your own thoughts. And I think that you can be lonely even being around other people. But again, that comes from a sense of not feeling comfortable in your own skin or around these others. So that's my goal. Week 1, alone. We have 0, which is you don't want to talk about iSchool yet. It's going to be very personal, and you don't want to spend more time explaining it. You want to spend more time on you, the student, the teacher, the subject of your own iSchool, which we're going to create this 24-25 school year. Yes? So, week 0 is, I like numbers because it helps me remember it. Week 1, alone. But that'll be a better thing, I hope, with iSchool. Okay. To prepare yourself for next week, what do you talk about? What consumes your thoughts? What consumes your conversations? Ciao for now.